So myself Harsangwan. So today in this video I'll be covering three topics: functions, arrays and objects. We will be basically diving deep into these concepts and what we are going to discuss today. Today we will be discussing about arguments, parameters, written statement, and inside arrays we are going to look at for, of, loop, and the functions that are present inside the array: map, filter, reduce, for each, splice, sum, array, sort, find, index of, flat, and concat. In objects we are going to look at foreign loop, create and assign functions, and we'll be diving deep into strings. We will discuss their immutability to uppercase to lowercase, trim, substring, substr, index of, starts with and ends with. So these are the functions in the strings that we'll be discussing. So let's get started with the functions first, right? Okay. I think there is some issue with the screen capture. Let me just rerun it. Screen capture. Yeah. Now I think we are good to go. Working fine. Yeah, we're good to go. So let's get started with functions. So we have already looked at the declarations of the functions, how many ways we can declare them. The first one was function declaration. Second one was anonymous functions, basically function having no name. Third one was arrow function, and fourth one was icky function. Right. So that is these are the four types of functions that are there in JavaScript. So if I write something like this, function test, let's say we wanna sum two variables. So how exactly this function is working? Basically, there is no explicit return type, explicit data type associated with the function when we declare it inside the arguments. So sorry, parameters. So these are known as function parameters, and when we invoke a function at that time, these are known as arguments. So one is going to map to A, two is going to map with B. So when a function is declared, these are known as parameters, and when a function is invoked, this is known as function arguments, right? So we have to write a logic to return the sum of A and B. So we can store it inside a C variable like this, and we can return C. Again, there is no need to define the return type, what it is going to return. It can return anything: a number, string, boolean, integer, number, string, boolean, array, null, undefined, any type it can return. It can also return a function type. So there is no need to declare any like string function. There is no need to declare explicitly. Basically this will be an invalid syntax if you try to do it. So you do not have to specify any return type. You can just directly return it the variable. So you have to cache it here, let result. is this, and then we can console log result, right? So this is about the function arguments and the parameters. What else did we need to discuss? The return statement. Okay, yeah. So we have discussed about the function, right? So in case of anonymous, we can also write it like this: const sum2 function ab return a plus b. Instead of storing the variable, we can directly return the value like this, and then we can invoke it. Result equal to sum2 1 2 console.log. Just a second, guys, I got a phone call. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Yeah, so guys, I'm back. I just got a phone call. So yes, we were discussing about the anonymous function. How do we declare it inside an anonymous function? How do we write the logic of some inside an anonymous function, right? So we can do something like this. As we have already seen that we can assign the value to a variable declared using let, but we cannot redeclare it like this. This is invalid, right? We can reassign the value. So it will print 3 again, and if you wanna write an arrow function, this is anonymous function. This is function declaration. Arrow function const sum arrow equals, it will take 2 parameters, and what we can do, we can write it like this. It will give us result some arrow 1 2, and then we can console log the result, right? So instead, we do not have to explicitly write the return statement. We can do something like this. If in case of arrow function, there is no need to write the return statement if there is only a single line to be executed. If there are multiple lines, then you have to do curly braces, then you can define whatever body is there, and then you can write the return statement over here. If there is only one single statement that is being executed and you have to return that, then you can simply write without the return keyword, you can write a plus b, right, like this. So this is also giving us 3. If function, you can declare it like this: function, and yeah, no need to talk about if function as of now. So that's pretty much it. That's the function. 3 types of function that we have declared to calculate the sum of a function, sum of 2 variables. And we have talked about the arguments and parameters, right? So what if we do not return anything inside a function? What is the return value that in that case? So in that case, by default, a function returns undefined. So if we write something like this test, and if we write console.log test function, and you do console.log of test, then it is gonna return me undefined, right? As you see, I haven't declared anything inside, written anything related to the return statement, so basically it is giving me undefined. So that's the default return value. So what if I write something like this: return, then hit enter, then return 2? What if I do this? So in that case, it is gonna give me undefined, because after return it will think that there is missing something is missing, so I have to replace it with some with value that is default value is undefined, and in the next line I'm betting to, so it is getting ignored, right? So JavaScript will think that there is a undefined over here, will replace, there is nothing over here, so we'll replace it with an undefined and we'll skip done whatever is written in before after the written statement, so it will give me undefined, right? So we are getting undefined. So that is it about the functions. We have already discussed the memory diagram, so if you would like to discuss it again, I can do so. So let me draw a quick memory diagram of function and call stack. Okay, how do I make a shape? Okay, let me, I think I have to go to export. This is also fine. Okay, I think I need to go to Excalibur. Okay, let me draw the box. Then we have, this is our whole stack. Disable action context. Now what do we have to? We have some L. So these are the three variables and one function that is there. So what's gonna happen is, inside the global execution context we will have these, some will be assigned to a function, some two will be undefined, some arrow will also be undefined since it is a variable, right? We are defining the assigning it the function, but initially it will be treated like a variable, right? Because we have declared it using const keyword, or you can declare it with var or let also. Then that in that scenario also it is going to be undefined in the memory allocation phase initially. So after the code execution phase begins, it is gonna hit this condition, so it is invoking some one and two, some function with one and two. So we will have another execution context created where we will be having local that will be pointing to this, we will be having global scope, and inside it we will be having a, since the parameters are also declared in this function, so we have a as undefined, a as undefined, and we will be also having b as undefined initially. When we hit the return statement, initially these are undefined, we are passing the arguments, so a is gonna be 1, b is gonna be 2 in the execution phase, and it is returning a plus b, so it will return so it will return 1 plus 2, that is 3, right? So this was the execution context for test function execution context, right? So similarly we can draw the memory diagram for sum2 and some arrow function, so that is nothing fancy, right? So similarly we can draw the diagram for two call stacks for sum2 and some arrow function, right? So that's the case. So this is about functions. We have covered each and every topic. Now let's discuss about what does type of operator type of give us. So if I write console.log type of test, it is going to give me a function. Function is the type in JavaScript, right? It is giving me function, so I can write function is a type in JavaScript, right? So this is it about functions. Now next thing what we have arrays coming up. Arrays basics.js. So how do you declare an array? We can declare it using this, like this, 1 2 3. We can also store strings, booleans for symbol or null, undefined, right? So how do you iterate over an array? We can iterate it like this. We have a length property inside array, and I can do console.log arrow square braces and I. It is going to give me each and every value that is present inside the array. Okay, it is not a constructor. Okay, you cannot declare it using the new keyword. You just have to write symbol. Yeah, so it is giving me each and every value that is present inside the array. So what if we do not want to it? So basically this is an imperative way of writing code. Imperative way of writing code. So we have to define a separate variable, then we have to take care of the length of the array, that it is underneath its length, and we have to do a lot of code, write a lot of code. So what if we had a function? So for this purpose we have for each function. You can write it like this: array is having a for each. What does it expects a function. So you see, we are writing function inside a function. So that is the beauty of a functional programming language. So you can write some function that that expects a callback function. Then it is saying that it is expecting a value that can be string, number, boolean, symbol, null, or undefined. Then it is expecting an index, and then it is expecting an array, right? So function, value, index, and array. So you can write it like this: value, index, array. And what we have to do, we have to console.log value, index, array. Let's console log all of these three things that the function was expecting. Right. So instead I can write, firstly we will be printing index, then the value. So index, value, and array will appear in one single line. Okay, what does it? What is it? Why it is not working? So 1 2, these are indexes: 0 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 3 symbol different. These are the value, and this is the array. This is the array. You can remove the array you will see index value pair in the console, right? So this is the for each loop, first function of the array. So you see the beauty, right? It is expecting a function. When you write something that is expecting a function, when you are passing a function inside a function. So for each is a function. So if you write console.log type of array dot for each, if you write this, what you will get? You will get function. So function is expecting another function that is known as a callback function. So function expecting a function, then the function that is being accepted by is known as a callback function. Then the function which is being accepted is called as a callback function. That hey, I'm gonna call you later. For now, you just have me inside your uh, calling mechanism. So for each is gonna iterate over each and every element, and it expects 3 arguments in value, index, and array. You can omit any of these arguments. You can write it like this also, value, and you can simply write value if you want to print the value, right? So that is what a callback function is, and that is in a nutshell what a for each function does. It basically iterates over each and every element of the array and gives you the whatever you are writing inside the callback function. It is not. It does not return anything. It returns nothing. Nothing means undefined. So if you write something like this and do console.log, it will give you undefined. It does not return anything. It does return anything, right? So this is the for each function. So let me just comment out all other console logs. And this is the declarative way of writing code using the functions. You do not have to define anything. You just need to use the built-in method that is for each, and it expects a callback function, and you can write that. Now let's talk about map, filter, and reduce. Map basically maps the values of the array to the corresponding value provided. So what does that mean? So let's say we have an array like this, and we want to square basically square each and every number. So what we can do like this: array.map, it expects another callback function, and it is having value, index, and array as its arguments. So we can declare a function inside this function, value, index, array. Now we have to return it. What value do you want me to return for each and every corresponding value? We want to return value raised to the power of 2. So what will it do? It will create a new array where each value will be mapped to this value. Whatever you return from the callback function, that value will be mapped to the original. Whatever you return from the callback function, that will be stored inside a new array, and that's it. you will receive an array. So array will be, it will not modify the original array. So to show this, you can do it like this: array2 and array2. Array will be not be modified, but it will create a new array and will square the value there. So in array2 you will be expecting the output, right? 1 2 3 4 is not modified, whereas you will get a new array. Now what's the return type of a map? What does map return? Map returns an array, right? So that is what map is. Now let's talk about filter. Basically, that's name itself suggests that it is going to filter based on some logical condition. Filter based on the condition. We have an array, and let's say we want to filter out the even elements, right? So let even elements equals to array dot filter. It also expects the same callback function with the same set of parameters. So you can write, let's use an arrow function over here. So value index array, and as we can see that if we want to write in one single statement without using the return keyword, then we have to write a ternary condition. If value mod 2 equal to 0, then return true, otherwise return false. If true is returned, then include that value inside the new array. It is also returning a new array. It is not modifying the original array. If the value is true for a particular element, then it is going to include it in the new array, otherwise it will exclude that value. So you will see something like this. You will get the even elements, right? 2 and 4, because it will iterate over each and every value and check for this condition. If it is divisible by 2, then we will return true and it will include in the inside the array, and if it is false, then it will exclude that. So that is what filter does. Now let's talk about reduce. Gives you a single output and accepts cb callback function and accumulator. Let's say we want the sum of all the elements. Let sum equal to, so we can do array dot reduce. Now what does it expect? It expects a callback function, and one more thing it accepts, I think, where it is current index array, that accepts for the reduce methods. Okay, so it expects a callback function and an accumulator. So accumulator is let's say initialized to 0, and inside it is gonna accept accumulator and the value. And basically what you can do it like this. So what is happening? Accumulator is getting returned inside of this, accumulator is getting updated and then returned, right? So that is what a reduce does. Console.log sum, right? 4 3 7 2 9 and 10, right? So this is the reduce function. Now what else do we have? Slice and splice. So let's talk about slice. So it's gonna slice the value based on your parameters. So let sliced values equal to array dot slice. If we want to the values from 1 to 4, then we can get it like this. Define sliced values, but basically start from index 1 and go up till index number 4. So it is going to give us 2 3 and 4. Splice is used to delete the elements. delete the elements, and slice. It accepts two arguments, first start and then the end. Now let spliced values array dot splice. What does it expects? Number from where the indexing will start, delete count, and the values. So let's say we want to delete second element, so we will write 1 comma 1, start from 1, delete one element. So in the spliced values we will get 2, because we are having the array as 1 2 3 4. This is the array. Neither of these functions have modified the array, so you are using the same array. So you will get 2, right? You will get 2 inside an array. That is important. Inside an array, not a single argument, not a single element, right? So if you want to insert the element, then you can do it like this. You can provide the third argument to place that element instead of the deleted element. So that is what splice does. Now let's talk about sum. Array dot sum. Let's say we want to search for that whether an element greater than 3 exists or not. So we can use sum. We can define the callback function which expects an element, and if it is greater than 3, then it, for any element which is greater than 3, then return true. If an element is greater than 3, then return true, otherwise return false. So it will give us true. If any of the element satisfies this condition, then it will give us true, otherwise it will give us false. So it is giving us true. What if I say greater than 5? So we are having an array 1 2 3 4, so it will give us false. And if we want to write for every, then we have an every function as well. Flag equal to array dot every. Is every element greater than 1, greater than 0? So yes, that's the case. It will give us true. Is every element greater than 1? No, we are having element equal to 1, so it will give us false, right? So this is also done. Sort find index of. If we want to find what is the index of an element, then we can use index of function. Let index equal to array dot index of 3 console.log index 1. We have deleted the element, so the array is 2 3 4. Splice modifies the array. It deletes from the original array and gives you the whatever value is returned from this, right? So that is why the index of 3 is coming out to be 1. You can also sort. Let's say the array is 5 4 3 2 1, and we want to sort it. So you can do array dot sort element, basically accepts 2 elements a minus b, const let result console.log result. So if you simply use this method, sort method, it is going to sort according to the dictionary order, not according to the values, right? So if you want to sort according to the values, then you have to write this logic. It accepts a callback function which has 2 arguments a and b, depending on whichever is if the return value is -1, then it is going to say that a is smaller and a will be put first, and if the return value is greater than 1, then b will be put first, and if the values are equal, then a will be put first. That is the sort function. Find is used to give us a boolean value whether the element is exist or not. So flag equal array dot find 3 console.log flag. No, I think find does not work in that way. Let me go to md and docs. So it's a great resource. Array.find md. Okay, find a particular element based on a condition. Right, element greater than 2. It's not a flag, but you will receive an element. Right, so this is the find method. Concat to append another array. Let's say we are having array 1 as 1 2 3 and array 2 as 4 5 6, and